Leaving Dayton. I'm driving to the cabin with no hands because I got my helper today. And I got my other helper too. Say hi, buddy. Alright, today we're going to expand my existing 640 watt solar system by adding a 400 watt east facing array and a 150 watt west facing array, and doing that is what's called virtual tracking. And at the end of the video I'll explain more about what that is and why I did it. At the same time, we're going to use these solar panels to block the sun from coming into my windows and heating up my cabin. Alright, let's unbox this stuff real quick. We got some stuff from Direct. So we've got, first off, our PV wire cord grip. This makes a watertight connection when you run it through your conduit, your cable. And then to meet the minimum price, I ordered some more switches, and then these clips clip the wires to the solar panels. I had a whole bag of like 200 of these and I can't find them, so I ended up having to order some more of these. Those are neat. They make for a neat installation. This box has the good stuff. It's from Northern Arizona Wind and Sun. So we've got a bus bar, and then we've got a 15 amp MPPT charge controller, and we've got a 10 amp charge controller. We've got some DC midnight circuit breakers, and we've got a midnight baby box. Screws. This mount your breakers in here. These are DIN rail mount breakers, so you can get your circuit protection. Alright, so this is a 10 amp, and this will protect the 10 amp charge controller. And these are constant duty breakers, so they won't trip until they're exceed 10 amps continuously. Buddy, no. Buddy, that's not for you. That's the problem with bringing her. Everything in here is her chew toy, according to her. Okay, and we've got a 15 amp and another 15 amp here. So this will protect our input to our charge controller and our output from our charge controller. We've got a free tool, some screws, a bunch of screws, and Z-brackets for mounting the panels to a wood surface. Alright, so on the right we got a 150 watt 24 volt panel from Solartech, and on the left we've got two 200 watt 12 volt panels from Fred 480V on eBay. And other than a dented corner and some caulk kind of all messed up on the front of the panel, there's not too much of a difference between these two panels in terms of the fit, finish, and feel of them. This one here on the right, the 24 volt, is a junction box on the back, and the ones on the left, the Fred 480V ones, are MC4 cable. Here's a feature that's definitely better on the Solartechs, is these corners. I mean, that's just a stronger way to make a connection, but I don't know how much that really matters, but it is better versus the Hightechs. I mean, literally the only thing holding these corners together is caulking, it looks like. I mean, I don't see anything mechanically fastening them. Here's the front. And there is caulk everywhere on these things, but they're also one of these. I got two for $320, and I got one of the other ones for $260. So, and I'm going washer on the back. I'm pretty sure this goes like that. Lock washer right there. That's tight. Yeah.
Just to help.
All right. Give you some. We're going down there, buddy.
She just gave herself the zoomies.
This looks kind of ugly, but the panels are bigger than they said they were online.
Please don't drop it on my head.
Sun came out. It's hot now. It's hot up here now. This is going to produce a lot of energy. That one. Now just guide the bottom until you can't guide it anymore. And tell me when you're gonna not reach.
I can't reach.
Okay, one sec, hold it for a second. Okay.
Bottom has the cords.
Alright, good.
You got it all by yourself.
Get yourself into precarious positions.
Safety third. Do it right.
Kinda. I said, does that look goofy from down there?
Right here.
Oh, you're inside. Is it shaded?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's a direct hit. Got some tree branches in the way, but that tree's dead, so I'd take that out. I wish I could have got smaller panels so they weren't stick out so far, but whatever. Okay, so we're going to connect these 12 volt panels in series. Our system's 24 volts, so we want to have enough voltage. And we're just going to take any positive and connect it to any negative. It doesn't matter, and we don't need branch connectors, so that's a nice advantage of the series wiring and higher voltages. Go above. We want to go above. Oh, we can't go above that. Oh yeah, we can. We want to go above that so we can use our clips. So these can fit two. There's room for two MC4 cables in each clip. And then they just clip onto the rail. There we go. Okay. I'll do a close up of this. Alright, so we got it. We got our MC4 into our cord grip. It's just one cable that you cut in half. I had some of this left over. Okay. Now we just connect. Alright. Here we go. Now we'll just route this inside and down to the charge controller area. just send this down to the first floor right now to get it tested out, and then when I have conduit, we'll come back and I'm gonna put all this wire into conduit, but I don't have the right size drill bit to drill out these holes. Alright, let's open up this junction box and wire as much of this as we can on the ground. They really don't want you opening these easily. Oh, they give you the liquid tight. They give you your liquid tight cord grip, although that's not the kind of... Why would you use MC4 wire if you have a junction box? That's kind of silly. Nothing appears to be labeled, so we can use our multimeter to figure out if we've got it wired right. So I didn't plan on using MC4 cable, so I got a liquid tight junction box and some Schedule 40 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to bring it up to 3/4 inch. So I'm just going to do this here. You just, once it's all the way in, you just tighten that, and then I'm going to bring it up to 3/4 with this. Let's put our little bushing on. Ooh, this stuff's a little cruddy. Might be time for a new. So put it on, give it a 1/4 turn, and make sure it's all connected. Alright, and let's get this knockout. Boy, they make those difficult to get out. That's not even clean. I gotta clean that out more. Again. See, it's got this washer here, so that should help. There we go. That's better. There's screws in these two, so I'm going to test those two first. I think this one must just be contacting 2 strings in series. Because this is a 24 volt panel, that's what I'm thinking it is. There's a middle lug. It's enough sun. Should be enough sun to at least check polarity. So I'm going to explain this on my voltmeter. It may be different for other people's. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you got your red and your black plugged into the correct outlets. Like black is the common, red is the other. Again, this may be different. And then we're going to set it to volts DC. Alright. And then we'll check it, and when we check it, it'll get a minus if the polarity is reversed, so I'll know which one to do. So let's move the camera. We're going to check the red on the right side. Nautical, red on right on return. Alright, and that's working. Alright, that's the right side. So remember, the red goes on the right. I might even put some tape over there on the right side. And we're getting 38.7 volts, which for a 24 volt panel is right where we want to be. Look at that. Nice view up here. Camera filming me. Alright, well, I'm happy with how that went. Alright, we're going to attach this grounding lug and make sure we have this grounded. Alright, now let's see if we, oh, there's my screwdriver on the ground. Let's see if we can hook this up without dropping any screws. I have my doubts. Alright, trying to do our negative. Almost lost it already. Alright, we did it. I have to say I was a little excited when I found out that this was a junction box, but now I'm not so excited. This is really difficult. We're gonna edit all of this a lot. Oh gosh. And there they go. I will never find those. Never in a million years. Fuck. I actually did find those relatively fast. Minor miracle. It hasn't rained. I mean, there's like cracks in the ground that they could have fallen into. Man, we got it. Wow. Oh, it says negative, positive right on the box. Wouldn't you know it? This is my cord grip. Get that on good and tight till it hits the flange. Waterproof. And in there. Alright. Loosen that up. So there's a gasket in between there, it's compressing. And then this, the wire goes through that. Alright, so we're going to put this through. Punctured. And put this through another one. Alright. Now we just snake it all the way through. crawling back under my foundation. Oh, I just spooked the mouse somehow. Probably crawling all over. Okay. Not my favorite. Army crawling. The wire won't come through. Alright, so I need to pull that wire through. It should come now. It's stuck on one of the millions of stumps that I didn't take out. Oh, of all the things that to be stuck on, it's stuck on the camera. Wonderful. I'm hitting something. Let's go figure out what it is. Let's go see what this is stuck on. Wouldn't you know, I drilled it right where there's a beam. Oh man. I could probably get it over that. Alright, let's go inside, drill a hole through the floor. Approximately where we want that to be. I'd like it to be right on the other side of where the ground goes through. So that's right there. Wires. Okay. Alright, so we got our east facing array up last week. 400 watts there. And we got our southwest facing array, existing 640 watts. That's already up and wired. And we just finished our west facing array of 150 watts. And so the whole thing runs in the schedule 40 down here under the cabin, across, and it comes all the way under here, kind of under there, and basically comes out right behind this wall here. And let's go wire it up inside to the charge controller. Alright, and we're going to clean this up and do a lot of work in here starting now. So we're going to put this one right here This doesn't have a heat sink or any kind of standoff, so I'm gonna just put some bolts behind this thing just to keep it off the wood and let air circulate behind it. There we go. And I hooked the other one up off camera, and we'll just do this one together because it's the same thing. There's no sense in going through it twice. I'm gonna take everything off my positive battery lug and put it on my positive bus bar, and same with the negative. Alright, so in that time-lapse video I just basically took my batteries out, put them in this box, put in a positive bus bar, a negative bus bar, and then put everything back in the box. And I've got some bulkhead fittings that are going to create the venting once I get everything finished up, and I'm missing an Allen wrench to reconnect my inverter and some stuff like that I'm not going to be able to do, but we'll get the charge controller installed now. So I've got all my breakers off. So I'm going to do this in order from the panel all the way down through to the battery, so you'll know which order I'm doing stuff. What we'll do first is ground. And this is an area I'm not 100% sure about, so if there's any experts out there, like I've got a grounding bus bar here, and then my main grounding rod is right in the ground below it. But then this panel's coming, you know, from the other side of the cabin, so should I just take it straight to the ground over there, or should I ground it here? Alright, so now I've got my positive wire that I just ran into that junction box on that solar panel. Bring that through. We're going to run it into our midnight DC rated breaker. I'm going to take it off this DIN rail to make it easier. These are DIN rail mount breakers, and sometimes it's easier to just take them off. Now we're going to go get some red wire, and we're going to connect it from the breaker down to the PV positive connection on the controller. Alright, got that connected to the breaker in both directions. So let's get this back on the DIN rail, close our little yellow thing below, and we can put that cover back on. Alright, and one thing that's really starting to drive me crazy about this whole thing is wire management, so I'm just going to do a little bit right now to kind of keep these manageable. So our red wires from the big baby box, I'm just going to tape them until they need to break off and go to the different controllers. We're going to connect our positive wire from our PV array to PV positive on the charge controller. Alright, got that pretty good. Snake it through all this junk. And I'm actually going to have it come from up here, and I'll show you why later. Now we're going to connect from the PV positive to the battery positive bus bar. And I've run 12 gauge off the panel, and I'm going to run 10 gauge from the controller to the bus bar because voltage drop from the panel to the controller is not that big of a deal. It's a little bit of an inefficiency, and in my case it's about 4 watts of loss. But from the controller to the battery, it's more important to have low voltage drop, so we're going to run a bigger gauge wire. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take it to this breaker right here because we need to protect the wire run from the controller to the battery. A lot of people miss this step. I've seen it in a couple installations that I've seen on YouTube. So you want to protect both sides of the controller. When I did this, I accidentally broke out the wrong ring for the breakout, for the knockout. So I have it with me, so we're gonna put the right ring in there. And let's just put some more tape. Never have too much red tape. Here we go. All right, we will reconnect the 30 amp first. And in my case, and probably most cases, I've matched up the breaker size with the amperage of the charge controller, because these breakers protect both your controller and your wire. Okay, that one's in there pretty firm. Now we will do the 15. Okay. Alright, that's in there good. There. Cut it. And we've got a 10 amp breaker protecting our 10 amp charge controller, also protecting 10 gauge wire, which is 10 gauge can handle way more than 10 amps, so that's super safe. Alright, those are all in solidly. Now we need to go from the other side of our breaker to our positive bus bar. Okay, got that. Do a little more wire organizing. So we're going from our baby box to positive bus bar. More bit of tape. Now we're going to connect our battery negative. We've got this connected. We turn this on. It should blink and then go to green for bulk, or blue for bulk. Oh, well, okay. Alright, so we haven't turned on the solar yet. So when I turn this on, now it should light up and then go to solid blue for bulk. There we go. So it's working. Let's see. Uh-oh, our BMV is not registering. Did I reconnect it? I do. What did I do? Alright, my battery monitor doesn't want to come back on. I don't know what I did to it. Fuse was broken. There we go. Blew a fuse. $23 watts. Alright, let's shut everything down. So we want to shut our solar down first. You don't want to shut off the controller's access to the battery, because then the solar can burn out the controller. So our solar's off. Now our battery's off. Now we're going to put in a couple shunts. So I bought 3 of these cheapo battery monitors, shunts, and we'll see how they work. Okay, we're going to wire in this shunt. This is kind of ridiculous because there's no way to mount this to anything. So I'll just have to stick it up there with like a wire nuts or something. Hey look, it's the magic hammer. It's the magic hammer's day job. Being a normal hammer. Don't quit your day job. Okay, let's make sure it still works. Still works. Solar first, battery second. This thing, we're not doing this exactly how it says because we're trying to measure, not measuring a load, we're measuring supply. But it just goes in line with the negative, and then you wire it according to the diagram. Of course, it's upside down. You can see that. This is measuring voltage. Let's turn this on first. Now let's flip on that breaker and see. I must have hooked it up wrong. No, we're just not getting any power. The BMV is not showing any either. Let's turn off all these breakers. Okay. We should be getting 5 watts. There we go. Alright. 8 watts. 0.31 amps. Sun's almost down. I wish there was a better way to mount these. Okay, so let's wrap this video up so I can get out of here. So we've got my morning array on that side with 400 watts. We've got my midday array, 640 watts. And then we've got my afternoon array with 150 watts nominal. And so let's talk a little bit about virtual tracking. I have enough power for everything I want to do, but with solar it's not always about having enough power, it's about having enough power when you want it. So with virtual tracking, if you think about a normal midday array, it kind of looks like a normal distribution. You know, you got your power, I'm going to have to put a picture of that, and you end up having more than you need at that point. But if you have a morning and an afternoon array as well, your power slope kind of goes like this, and it's wider. And what that helps with is your constant loads. So like when I put a DC fridge in here, it's going to help run that. And if I ever put a mini split or a little air conditioner, it's going to make that a lot easier on my batteries. There's a lot of ways you could do this. You could just put more panels on your roof and then get more batteries. That'd work fine too. I like the idea of using solar panels to keep my cabin cool in the summer. So by putting them over those windows in the morning and the afternoon, I've got shade. That's going to prevent my cabin from warming up. So it's kind of block the sun and use the sun to make energy. That's kind of why I wanted to do it that way.